Where the water has eroded away the dirt and exposed all of these rock layers, we can see two different kinds of shale. At the top, we see the Olentangy Shale, which is what we have in Cardington. I was talking to the naturalist earlier, and he said that is the name of that. Below it is Ohio Shale, and you can see that it's a little bit different color. It's all formed by layers of mud solidifying, making those sedimentary rock layers, but they relate at different times out of different materials, so there's different colors. All across Ohio, we have a lot of sedimentary shale, and every time it changes colors and layers, it has a little bit different name. So ours is Olentangy Shale. This is a really cool place in the trail. I'll have to talk loud so you can hear me over the water, but these are the concretions I wanted to show you, where something that's a little piece of a bone chip or a piece of petrified wood or shell was in the middle of the layers of all of this shale, and the iron and the calcium carbonates, they kind of encrusted around it in the same way that if you have a little chip of bone in your elbow from an injury, that your body will calcify it, or in the same way that an oyster can put a pearl around a little grain of sand that gets in their shell. That's how these form. It's kind of a mystery and kind of arguing over exactly how that happened. But you can see we've got several here. There's one down there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over there. We've got a couple over here behind me. This one that is breaking apart, kind of like a big jawbreaker, is because the sun shines down on the rocks and it heats up this outside surface, and this gets warm. The inside has soaked up a lot of water and it stays wet. So that's a little bit of difference between those two layers, and then when it gets cold and it freezes, that breaks away. There is a name for that kind of weathering. Of course, it's escaped me at the moment. But it kind of reminds me of the gobstopper, everlasting gobstopper jawbreakers. That's kind of how these break apart. And if you cut it in half, you'd see all of those layers all the way to the center. Interesting section because it almost looks like a tile floor. The shale went down in layers and it has cracked and fractured along planes where it looks like little shelves and stair steps here. And then every once in a while you see a concretion, bulging out of it. Right here's a little dipped out spot where there had been a concretion that has now gone downriver. Right here's a little dipped out spot too. So it's a lot of geometry, a lot of rectangles and squares and spheres in this section. Kind of cool. This is a really cool set of concretions across here because the weathering has just out the top of this one, so it kind of looks like a big bird bath here. But you can see how big it is. But what I really like is that you can see the layers underneath of there. When this formed, this mud was all still soft and being laid down. So it's not that these were here before or after, but kind of during the whole process. And they do have little lines in them. A lot of people think they've been rolled around by the glaciers. That's what I always thought made those marks. But these lines that are in them are kind of the extension of what we call the bed of the layers that they are in. It's really cool to look at some of the layers that look like newspapers, or like a whole stack of newspapers up there. Some really, really thin sheets, even way thinner than we see in Cardington in our shale.
There, I didn't show that one.
This is the view from the bridge. As you look down, you see how the floor of the creek looks like tile, floor tile. Then piles of newspaper, stacks of newspaper. Some has fallen over. And you can see the giant cliff over there. You can see that there is a large concretion right up there in that area. On the other side of the bridge, here's more of that floor of the river, of the creek. When I came here years ago, I think that this is the one that I saw, but it was big and the water was then washing down over it and through it, and I thought, oh, it's going to weather away, but I can see now that we have a lot more. I believe this is the core to it, and I believe that this is a piece of the surrounding material that was around it there, and I believe that it fell out of this spot here. You can see there's one that's still embedded in the bank, and this one looks like it has popped apart. And you can see those rock layers around there, how they formed right around it, and the rest of it stacked up like a bunch of newspapers. I really hope that your families get to come down here and check this out. We are behind the Nature Center at Highbanks Metro Park, and this is free, and it's in your state. I am back home from my adventure now, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the concretions that I have in our classroom collection. What I really like about this one is that you can see those concentric circles. It's a slice, the way it has weathered away, and you can see that little piece of bone fragment or whatever it was in the middle. If we flip it over, we can see it there. Probably a fossilized piece of a plant, possibly a piece of coral, maybe a fish bone. I'm not an expert on identifying those, but whatever it was caused the minerals that were in the mud to kind of make a little circle around it. Here is one that has fallen apart. I found this in the creek here in Monroe County. That's where that one came from too. You can see there's a lot of iron in these. I believe that's what makes them kind of pull together, that little bit of magnetism. The dark markings in there. These were all kind of found in the same area. I found this one in Marion County in a creek, and I call it my little snowman. These are conjoined, so they were just very close together, and they stuck together like a little snowman. I like this one because it's got a really cool texture to it. I can tell that it's a concretion because there were definitely layers. The outside layers have come off. And this one is very, very heavy. Exfoliation is the weathering where they pop off like onion skin is the name of that kind of weathering I was having trouble coming up with earlier. And that's what has happened to this side. Because this weighs so much, because it has a high density, I could tell there's a lot of iron in it, and so I believe that to be a concretion. And this little one I just found recently here here in Monroe County on our property. And what's cool about it is I looked down and I found that, so I knew it was a concretion that had busted open, and then I didn't have to look very far, and I found the other pieces. It's pretty incredible to think that these formed during the Devonian period, 350 million years ago. When we go into an antique shop and we find some cool old stuff that's really old, it kind of blows our mind. And then we go outside and pick up these rocks, and they're 350 million years ago. There are some other rocks that I have over here. I like to collect these round ones. These are not concretions. And so just because it's round doesn't mean it's a concretion. The concretions have a lot of iron to them and have concentric circles. And these are some rocks that have weathered in the water, have just rolled around and around until they have weathered into these spheres or egg shapes. These two are a rock called gneiss. I'm not exactly sure on that one. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not exactly sure on that one. I got that at a stone quarry down in the Dayton area when I was taking a trip
This one's sandstone, and this one's quartzite. Kind of reminds me of a buckeye. That one's really, really hard. And all of those were found in creeks and water areas where the water had rolled them around. So just because it's round doesn't mean you're looking at a concretion. And a lot of people think that any rock that's round is going to have the crystals inside, is going to be a geode, and that is not the case either. None of these would have crystals inside.